This peculiar fly only feeds on beautiful women's tears. Without them, he feels miserable. To satisfy his craving, he frequents gatherings of heartbroken people, seeking vulnerable girls. Once he spots a target, he approaches, claiming he too was dumped by his partner. The girl instantly relates. Seeing this, he asks if she wants to go home together. She agrees without hesitation. As he stands up, leaning on a cabinet, it unexpectedly falls towards him. Tragically, the cabinet crushes the girl, killing her instantly. Police arrive after a co-worker reports her missing. They find her dead at home. The crime scene is chaotic, resembling a robbery, but with no signs of forced entry. They lift the cabinet. Chiang examines the body, suspecting death by crushing. Oddly, her eyes are swollen as if punched. There's a handprint on her wrist. 2 coffee cups suggest another person was present before the incident. Chiang's phone shows a note about a heartbreak support group meeting. They follow this lead to the support group's location. The organizer mentions the girl left with a handsome man named Wu Younger. At this time, the forensic doctor called and said that the autopsy report was ready. After listening, the two hurried to the autopsy room. The doctor said that the girl's death was caused by the cabinet. It was too heavy and pressed on her, leaving her unable to breathe and ultimately suffocating her. Her eyes were even stranger. The test results showed that the girl was blind. The doctor also found some red sand in the lining of her eyes, which under a microscope was full of parasites. This parasite usually only appears in Africa, transmitted by fly bites. After hearing this, the two hurried back to the police station to investigate the girl's recent whereabouts. But after checking thoroughly, they found no record of her going to Africa. The only lead at the moment was Wu Younger, who had been in contact with her. Chiang also had a vague feeling that she might be the tailed monk. Just then, a tearful Wu Younger appeared again. He was seen entering a private house, and as soon as he went in, he used the same trick on the girl inside. But while he was savoring the girl's tears, her sister suddenly came to visit. Seeing this, he quickly hid behind a pillar. After seeing her sister collapse, the older sister began frantically knocking on the door. Wu Younger had no choice but to slip away. By the time the sister caught up, Wu Younger had already driven off. She then called the police. Chiang and his partner learned that a similar incident had occurred again, but this time, the victim was still alive. They immediately rushed to the scene. After learning the details from the victim's sister, they confirmed the perpetrator was likely the same person. They showed her a portrait of Wu Younger, their suspect, but she said she only saw the vehicle the perpetrator left in. After listening, Lao Wu quickly wrote down the model number and went back to investigate. They then went to the house and found the scene the same as before. No valuables were missing, so what did the perpetrator want? This left the two of them very perplexed. The tailed monk was their only lead. To resolve their doubts, they called Lan. Together, they looked through ancient books in the caravan and learned that the victim's eyes had all been affected. Lan quickly found the relevant information. There was an evil creature called the fly monster that liked to gouge out human eyes and feed on their tears. They were once known as tear-sucking demons. Ancestor Grimm had killed one before. Upon dissecting its body, he discovered a cluster of red parasites crawling in its brain, which was likely the reason they consumed tears, to suppress these parasites. Some fly monsters even target the victim's family, taking advantage of their grief and tears. It seemed this time, the culprit was undoubtedly one of them. Just then, the coroner called, reporting that parasites were also found in the second victim's eyes, but unlike the first, these seemed to be evolving. Hearing this, the two hurried to the hospital. The girl's sister approached them upon arrival, eager to share new clues. She mentioned the suspect her sister encountered had a strange accent, but she only knew his nickname. As they were talking, the sister in the ward suddenly rose. Rushing in, they saw blood had soaked through her eye bandages, and parasites were emerging. With no choice, they had to leave her in the doctor's care for now. Wei then got a call from Lao Wu, who had located the suspect's vehicle. Arriving at the scene, they spotted brother Wu Yun exiting a church with a girl. Seeing the police, he immediately turned back. Chiang and the others split up to chase after them, searching each floor systematically. At that moment, Chiang and brother Wu Yun were together. Chiang heard footsteps as he passed a classroom, spotting Wu Yinga drilling rapidly in place. He aimed his gun at Wu Yinge, but when about to cuff him, Wu Yinge spat parasites in his face, hitting Ah Qiang's eyes. Before going blind, Ah Qiang tried to catch Wu Ying, who'd already escaped through a window and stolen a car. Ah Wei helped the injured Ah Qiang to the medicine depot. His eyes could open but couldn't see anything. Learning of Ah Qiang's condition, they checked for treatments. The cure required fly monster eyes, specifically from its tail forest form. This harsh method left them feeling overwhelmed. Old Wu called, saying they'd found the stolen vehicle. As Ah Wei talked, Ah Qiang's hearing suddenly became super enhanced, overhearing the car's location near a square. He recalled ancient texts. Fly monsters target victims' families. The square was near the second victim's home, likely the girl's sister. Despite his blindness, Ah Qiang decided to act using his enhanced hearing. They left immediately. The girl's sister returned home, tearfully looking at her sibling's photo, recalling her tragic fate. Unknown to her, Wu Ying was hiding nearby. As she reached for tissues, she glimpsed Wu Ying in the mirror. He attacked as she turned. The smart, strong sister quickly covered her eyes. Wu Ying's parasites failed, and she punched him away. Enraged, she pried open her sister's eyes. Just as Wu Yin was about to put an insect in them, Ah Wei and others arrived, strong. Wu Yin hid quickly. Seeing the scared sister, Ah Wei comforted her. He then left with Alang to find Wu Yin, while Rosa helped Ah Qiang to the room. With his super hearing, he detected Wu Yin's movements. He was strong. He sent Rosa for Ah Wei's group, then followed the sound to the attic. Hiding Wu Yin saw Ah Qiang, thinking him an easy target, and chose to fight him directly. Unknown to him, guards isolated them. Though eyes were deaf, ears weren't affected. In a few moves, Ah Qiang easily subdued Wu Yin with a deadly scissor hold. Rosa and others reached the attic. Before Wu Yin changed back, Alang gouged his eyes. Rosa crushed the medicine and prepared an antidote. They applied the medicine to Ah Qiang's bandage. Wu Yin woke, blind in one eye, and tried to escape. He slipped and fell. As he tried to run, the girl's sister stabbed him in the waist, and just like that, Wu Yin was killed on the spot. The case closed as Wu Yin's home invasion, with the owner's self-defense justified. Ah Qiang began training his martial arts skills. He didn't know where he'd be blind next, but being a hexagonal warrior wouldn't hurt. Alright, I'm Wildball. See you next time.